Extreme weather continues to batter Australia's east coast as thunderstorms and giant hail pound the bushfire-fatigued country. Hailstorms have swept across the capital, Canberra, with hail the size of golf balls pelting the nation's parliament building.
Rows of cars have had their windscreens smashed. More than 1,000 homes have lost power across the region.
Yeah, the hail came down. It was like it was snowing, but it made a lot of noise, and as you can see, the damage just right across the whole car park. Cars are just wiped out.
It was pretty noisy. I'm almost surprised it didn't come through the office windows.
And just a few hundred kilometres away, it was a very different story. Major dust storms have engulfed towns in the state of New South Wales. Wind gusts of more than 100 kilometres an hour have been recorded.
Meanwhile, Victoria is mopping up in the wake of a major storm that swept across the state. ABC Australia reporter Nicole Asher tells us more.
A week ago, Ian Matthews was watching his paddocks burn.
From fire to floods, yeah, in a matter of 4 or 5 days. 200
mil of rain fell on his farm at Brewster near Ballarat.
It was that heavy and intense, it's just sort of washed away, weather at its weirdest.
Pakenham bore the brunt of the wild weather as it continued today. Since yesterday afternoon, the SES has received 1,800 calls for help from across the state. And first responders weren't immune.
Members were already here attending to other calls that were not related to the storm event, and their vehicles, some of them have been damaged by the hail.
In the Macedon Ranges, it was fire forcing people to flee.
Air Observer helicopter, they're working on that fire, actually clipped a power line. It was able to safely land, however there was damage to the windscreen. It was only the pilot in the helicopter, and the pilot is fine.
As the clean-up got underway in Melbourne, the firefighting effort continued in the northeast and east Gippsland, where the rain provided some relief but also setbacks. Plans to open the Princess Highway were delayed.
With the weather event that's come through has meant there's been a need to further assess roads as limbs, and there's been some minor landslips.
But Air Force flights meant some locals made it home to Malakuta. It will take a long time for many of the town's businesses to recover, but the government's encouraging tourists not to forget Victoria. The state government has now turned to star power to boost tourism.
So come to Melbourne and visit regional Victoria.
And the fire zones will get the help of the corporate and sporting sector.
Sport and business can come together with government and support those regional communities by, instead of having an event in Melbourne, take it to a bushfire-affected community.
While many of those communities are enjoying a brief respite from the heat, it is forecast to warm up later in the week. Nicole Asher, ABC News.